Hey guys, it is Jonah and I am back with another video. Today is going to be my first video in my going back to the past YouTube series that I'm going to be starting. But before I get into this video, please subscribe down below if you guys like the voice, if you guys like reaction videos. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, so let's get right into this video. So basically how this is going to work is I'm starting with season 9 of The Voice, and I'm gonna go up to season 18, to the last season that just ended, and just go back into the past and re-rank all of the top 12 contestants from the blind all the way to the finale, and then I'll say my opinion on where I feel like they should have fallen, like if like where I think they should what should have happened in the top 12, who I feel like got robbed in each round, and so on and so forth. And then yeah, and how I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna split it up into two parts for each video. So this video is gonna be part 1. I'm just gonna go from the blind auditions to the live playoffs. I'm not gonna go on after that yet. I'm gonna do that in the next video. I'm gonna do the live shows from top 12 to the finale in a separate video, just because I feel like I'm gonna be talking a lot and I don't want to go too long in this video because I want you guys to watch it. So I don't want to like extend it too long to where you guys don't want to watch 30 minutes of me talking, 30 plus minutes of me talking just straight the voice stuff, because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. But yeah, so let's first just get all in the open. So this is season 9. You had Blake Shelton, Pharrell, Gwen Stefani, and Adam Levine that season. So this was Pharrell's, I believe, one of his last seasons. And so season 10 would have been his last season. So this is his second to last season as a coach. Kind of sad. I feel like Pharrell was one of my favorites. But yeah, so the top 12, in my opinion, this is like kind of the first season I started watching, and I was kind of like in and out of the show. Like season 10, probably the first season that I watched fully, but season 9, what was the season that like I watched so like on and off, and I feel like I should have watched the whole season like when it was when it was aired on TV, because it was a great season. So what I did was I literally rewatched every single performance that I can find on YouTube, and if I had to listen to the studio version and listen to the studio version, then I ranked each. Then I ranked each of the top 12 people from each stage of the competition to like how good I think they did compared to the rest of the top 12. So yeah, so season 9, the winner was Jordan Smith. And then Blake had 2 people in the finale. He had Emily Ann Roberts and then Barrett Barber. And then Team Gwen had Jeffrey Austin. And then you had Pharrell with nobody. He was the only coach without anybody in the finale this season, or in season 9. And yeah, and so then the other people who did not make the finale were Zach Seaball from Team Blake, Maddie Davis from Pharrell, Brandon Sunshine from Team Gwen, Amy Vocal, I'm not sure how you say it, but she ended up being on Team Adam by the live shows. Shelby Brown was also on Team Adam. Corinne Bukowski, she was on Team Gwen. Evan McKeel was on Team... Evan was on Team Pharrell, and then Mark Hood was on Team Pharrell. So that was the top 12, and yeah, so let's just go right into this. So in the blind auditions, Jordan Smith sang Chandelier. He turned all 4 chairs, one of the best blind auditions ever, probably one of the most views ever on a YouTube blind audition video. It was my top spot in the blind auditions ranking wise. So, and then second was Mark Hood. So Mark Hood sang Use Me, and he absolutely killed it. He was all over the place with it. He was so unique, jumping up and down. Notes-wise, he was just crazy. He's a performer, and he showed up. That was a great song choice, and I loved him moving all around, notes in the stage. It was all incredible. It was like he was like at his like a live concert performance, instead of like him like performing like on a competition show, to where like he knew he was gonna turn a chair. Like there was no way he wasn't gonna turn a chair with how good he was in the blinds. Yeah, so he was my number 2 spot. So Jordan Smith was 1, and then Mark Hood was 2. And then my third favorite blind audition was Barrett Barber. So he sung Angel Eyes. and he turned 4 chairs, and he ended up choosing Blake. I feel like if from this current season of The Voice, he is a Todd Tilghman of season 9. So Barrett Barber, he is like a 40-year-old guy, family man. He made it to the finale. He got 3rd place, and he is one of those people who he's very passionate. He's happy when he sings, and then he can also just get softer, and then he can just go off and be powerful as he can, like Todd did when he just gets all the roughness. Todd has a little more roughness and grit to his voice, but Barrett Barber, he is kind of like the look-alike, in my opinion, of what and sound alike to Todd Tilghman in a way. And I feel like Barrett, he killed his blind audition. I loved it. I absolutely loved his blind audition. It was absolutely incredible. And it was just mind-blowing to me that he could do that. It was just an incredible blind audition. So I love how happy he is when he sings, and he just jumps around on the stage. It's awesome. So yeah, so now in 4th, I have Amy Vakel. So she sung Have a Little Dream of Me, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, Dream a Little Dream of Me. It was a 3-chair turn because Adam's team was full, but I'm guessing Adam would have turned because that was an absolutely stellar blind audition. She has something about her that's just really captivating when she sings, and even though her voice is soft, the way she can captivate a room makes her voice really powerful, and she just draws you into her. And I really, really loved her voice on this season, and this blind audition was absolutely great. I believe she went with Pharrell and to start off, but then she ended up getting on Team Adam. That's for later in the video. Okay, so she started off on Team Pharrell. So yeah. So after that, in 5th, I have not Zach Siebel. Let me see. 5th, I have Shelby Brown. So Shelby Brown sang Stars. She turned all 4 chairs, I believe. Yeah, she was a 4-chair turn, and surprisingly enough, she went with Adam, because we all know on this show, Blake tends to get country people on his team, and so Adam getting a country artist on his team was very special to him, because he doesn't get it a lot, and he rode her, pretty much. He rode with her the whole competition, all the way up until she got eliminated in the top 9, I believe, or I think it was the semis, but yeah, so up until that. But yeah, so Adam went with her. He was her country gal to try and beat Blake with a country artist on the season, because we all know that's Adam's goal in life, to beat Blake with a country singer, and that was his best chance this season with Shelby Brown. And yeah, so she was really good. I really liked her country tone, and I'm really glad that she got 4 chairs, because she deserved it. And then, so that was my top 5 from the blind audition. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through all 12, because that's just going to take too much time. So I'm saying my top 5 from each round, and then my bottom 3 from each. So in 12th, I have Braden Sunshine. So Braden, he was actually one of my favorite people in the whole entire season, but from a standpoint of what they showed in auditions, he was probably the worst one, just because we didn't hear a lot of range in his voice and power, but there was enough power, and I'm so glad that Gwen and Pharrell turned at the end, because he deserved it. He ended up choosing Gwen, and Blake was surprised. I think Blake even said something like, man, welcome to the show. I didn't think you were going to turn. I was like, oh man, too bad. And then like 1 ticket later, then they turned around. And I was so happy they turned around, because he deserved it. He had enough potential, and then it paid off, because he made it to the semis of The Voice. So yeah, so it paid off big time for them, for Gwen turning around and ended up getting him. And then Gwen also turned for Corinne Bukowski, who happens to be my 11th place. So my second, not work, because everyone who made the top 12 was good. My second kind of show, like from a standpoint of how much they showed, she was my second person who I didn't think did the worst job. So she sung Cecilia in the Satellite in a blind audition, and she really, really killed it, in my opinion. Like, I feel like she probably should have turned more than 1 chair, but I think the problem was, I saw some control issues, some pitch issues, and there was something that maybe I think they were just lacking, in my opinion. And I feel like that's why Gwen only turned. But Gwen, on the show historically, has been someone who's turned around for the most, probably 1-chair turns out of anybody. And so some of them pay off. Like, Corinne made it to the live shows. Jeffrey Austin was a 1-chair turn. He made it to the finale. So, yeah. You never know. So Zach Seaball, he is my 10th place. And the only reason why I have him so low is because the blind auditions were just great this year, and everyone pretty much was talented. And he was 10th just because he sang "Take Your Time," which is a country song, but Pharrell didn't know that. So Pharrell, like in the middle of his blind audition, Pharrell asked, like, "Is this a country song?" And that shows you that Pharrell thinks that Zach was very versatile, and that he can do more than just country. I mean, obviously, Zach ended up choosing Blake, and Zach made it to the live shows. He sung, so he sang "Take Your Time." He turned 3 chairs, I believe. He turned everybody but Gwen. Making sure, yeah, he turned everybody but Gwen and ended up choosing Blake. He was one of my people who I felt like I liked when I was watching highlights of the show before this, but then I was watching it, I don't know, like, I was watching him, and I didn't really have any stand-out performances from him in this video. I don't feel like he had any stand-out performance that, for me, like, made him rise above the other competitors on Team Blake, but he does have a nice voice, something like a crooner-style voice, in my opinion, like a crooner country. That sounds so weird, but yeah, crooner country type of voice, and it's really nice to hear to the ear, and I'm really glad that he got on the show and that he made it as far as he did because he is talented, so yeah. So that was the blind auditions. This was one, I think, from a season standpoint, this was one of my favorite seasons of blind auditions just because of how talented all the artists were that season. And people like Maddie Davis, who I didn't even say about, she was my 6th place. Jeffrey Austin, Mark Hood, Evan McKeel, people like that who I didn't say specifically, Emily and Roberts. I didn't say any of these names, but they all had great blind auditions. They just didn't make my top 5 or bottom 3 because they were just in the middle. They were that because just the way that worked. So now let's go to the battle round. So again, the top spot in the battle rounds has to go to Jordan Smith. He sung against Regina Love. He sang "Like I Can." He ended up winning. He's just so special. He has so much range with his voice, and he is just unique, and he was probably going to be the winner of the show. From the moment he sung his one audition, because it was just incredible, and his battle round and did not let anybody down. He won. Regina Love got stolen, and he just proved that he belongs, and that he just so good. He's just talented, and there was no doubt that he wasn't going to win that battle just because of the more uniqueness that he has to his voice and the fact that he's probably was gonna win the show, and Adam knew that. So yeah, and my second favorite battle round was Mark Hood again. So my top 2 were the same from the blind auditions to the battles, and Mark Hood, he's just a great performer, and his voice is spectacular too, and the way he does stuff with his voice, it can be a little overwhelming sometimes. He tries to do a little too much at times, but when he's on and when he's not trying to do too much, it sounds amazing. And he won his battle against Celeste Benton, who ended up actually being one of the only comeback stage people who got chosen from the battle round that I can remember, because usually the comeback artists get picked from the knockouts, but someone picked, I'm not sure who even picked her, but she got picked from the battle rounds instead of the knockouts, which I like because I think she deserved a steal. She didn't get a steal in the battles, but I feel like she deserved one because she was absolutely killer too. It's just that Mark is a little better of a performer than Celeste, and that's why Pharrell went with Mark, and I totally agree with him. Mark definitely should have won that battle. So then third, yet again, Barrett Barber. So my top 3 are the same in the first 2 rounds. Barrett Barber went up against... Let me see, I have it down somewhere. He went up against Dustin, I believe. Yeah, he went up against Dustin Christensen, who was another 4-chair turn. They sang "Walking in Memphis," and both of their voices were just spectacular. I love the song choice, but Barrett has just something about him that I think you just got to roll with. And I feel like the fact that he was on Team Blake, it's just... helped his chances of moving on even more. But I'm so glad that Dustin got stolen because he absolutely deserved it. Adam stole him, and he was one of my favorite voices in the whole entire season. I just love the texture of his voice and the tone of it, and I'm really glad that he got stolen. So yeah. So now my 4 is going to be Maddie Davis. So she sang Riptide against Sydney Rom, and she won. This was a studio version. I couldn't find the actual video on YouTube, but Maddie, she has such a unique tone in her voice, and it's just incredible to hear her. and I'm so, so glad that she won this, even though Sydney, I feel like, she got stolen too. But Maddie has something unique about her that I'm so glad that Pharrell kept rolling with, because there's something about her, and she's just so unique, and her tone is just on another level, like insanely good. So I'm so glad that she was stolen. So now my fifth is Emily Ann Roberts. So she went up against Morgan Fraser, two country girls on Team Blake. And I feel like Emily definitely did win this battle, but I'm glad Morgan got stolen too. There's just something about Emily, maybe the fact that she's a little younger, in that she's just as talented. I feel like she was just going to be more of a star than Morgan after the show, and I feel like Blake saw that, and that's why Blake continued to pick her in this battle. Yeah, she absolutely killed it. So yeah, so now my bottom three for this round. So Shelby Brown, it was probably her worst performance of the season was in her battle round. This one, I saw some of the video, but I had to watch a lot of it on the sort of studio version. And she kind of went up against like a rocker person, and I feel like Adam picked the song more towards the rocker person, but Shelby ended up winning it because she had a better performance. But I feel like that it was just out of Shelby's wheelhouse, and she did as good enough of a job as she could, but I just didn't hear enough in her voice to put her higher than than the worst spot in the battle rounds and that. So yeah. So now my 11 in the battles was, let me see, Zach Seaball. So Zach Seaball, he went up against Tyler Dickerson. He won barely, but in my opinion, like, I don't know. I feel like Tyler actually won that battle, and I'm actually pretty surprised if it was on a steal, because I felt like when I was watching it that he actually won the battle, and that, but I don't know. Because it's just two different types of voices, and it's just whatever Blake wanted to roll with, so I'm not necessarily upset with Blake for picking Zach because he was close. I just feel like Tyler got this slight edge with the range he has. But, I mean, it is what it is. Zach ended up winning it. Zach ended up making it to the live shows. So yeah, it ended up working out for Blake anyway. But I just feel like Tyler should have won that. But it's my opinion. And then 10th is going to be Jeffrey Austin. So before the knockouts, he was actually not my totally favorite person in the first, from the blinds to the battles. I wasn't sure about his tone and the way he was using his voice. It just seemed kind of weird to me. And then the fact that I had to watch the studio version of this performance didn't help me that much. I don't know, I feel like it felt like kind of average to me in the battle rounds to me. But he definitely rose up later in the competition, and he definitely changed my mind. But I feel like in the battle, from the battle standpoint, he was just average. So that's why I have him low. Okay, so that was the battle round. And then I have 3 people who I think should have made it farther than they did, and who got eliminated in the battles that I felt like should have made it farther. So the first 2 I've already mentioned. Sydney Rom, she sang Photograph in her blind audition, and it was the last, I'm not sure if anyone remembers, but she was the last person who ended up going that season. So Pharrell was the only person with the spot left, and she was so good that she made Blake, Gwen, and Adam all look behind them to see who it was singing, because they all wanted to turn for her and all wanted to see who was actually singing. And because they all would have turned for her if they had a spot left, so they might as well just look back and see who it is. Pharrell got lucky. I thought that she was going to go far on the show. She would have been a 4-chair turn, but she lost to Maddie Davis, which I actually think Maddie won that, but I don't think that there's no reason why Sydney shouldn't have gotten a steal unless they all felt like Sydney didn't need this show. She was already talented enough and that she already got enough exposure, but I just don't feel like she got as far as she could have gone on this show. That's why I feel like she was robbed. So then Tyler Dickerson, another guy who I felt like got robbed. He was a 1-chair turn in the blind. Only Blake turned for him. Blake and Tyler go way back, of course. Blake knows a lot of these people, these random people. I'm not sure where at, but knows him from some country thing. And Tyler ended up losing in the battle, surprisingly. And I feel like he could have gone farther on the show if Blake had kept rolling with them. I don't think he would have gotten as far as Zach, but I do think that Tyler should have gotten farther on the show than he did. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so Manny Cabo. So this is probably one of the historically most robbed contestants ever on a show of this nature, because it was so surprising that he after his final audition, he didn't even make it past the battle round. Like, are you kidding me? Like, he's saying, here we go again. Like, Adam's reaction said it all. Like, he was like, and then turned his button, because like immediately there was something, because he felt like there was something about him, and he definitely knew how to perform. His voice, his range, everything about him just was just, like, in my opinion, made him a star. And actually, currently, I think just went on to La Voice in Mexico, I think is that word. I'm not sure where it is, but that's where he was on that show, and I feel like he made it to the lives. Actually, I'm not sure how they do it there, but I think he made it farther onto the show than he did in the U.S., which I'm happy for him. He deserves it. He's a great person, and I'm so upset that he didn't get stolen when he lost to Keith in the he sang Baba O'Reilly, and I feel like Manny definitely should have been stolen, but I'm not sure what happened there. Keith, I feel like Keith did win, but I don't feel like people. I still think people should have stolen Manny, but it sucks. But that's what it has to be. So yeah. So now the knockouts. So in the knockouts, we had, again, Jordan Smith. He sang "Set Fire to the Rain." My favorite performance from the knockouts has to go to him yet again. So far, Jordan Smith has not gotten anything but first place yet. He's just on another level compared to the rest of the contestants this season, and you have to give him credit. He's just so talented. He just does stuff with songs to show off his range and abilities, and it's just incredible. And I definitely could not see the season being this popular if it wasn't for Jordan. And he deserved to win. He just killed this song. He's so happy he won his knockout, and he continued to move on. Adam just kept believing in him, kept pushing him forward, and then America was going to do the rest. So yeah, so now my second favorite of the knockouts was Maddie Davis, and she sang "A Case of You," and oh my gosh, she's so talented. Like, I missed out hearing all this live the first season. I feel like I would have been really upset if I had watched the season and found out that Maddie didn't make the finale, because she was one of the best toned all season long, best song choices all season long. She was probably some of my favorite performances all season long. And on top of that, she literally went up against Amy Vackel in the knockouts, and probably my favorite knockout ever was these two girls. Maddie's my second favorite on the knockout, and then Amy was my third. Amy sang "A Sunday Kind of Love," and they both killed their song choices. Literally, Pharrell could not go wrong with the song with the selection. I'm glad that he chose Maddie. I'm a slight bit better fan of Maddie than Amy, but Adam stole Amy, and so now Amy Vackel's on Adam's team. So that was 2 and 3, and then my fourth favorite is going to be Braden Sunshine. He sang "Feeling Good." This is the first time all season that we get to hear Braden just go off on a song. He sang "Feeling Good," I've already said that, and he absolutely killed it. We heard Gwen saying, "It's happening, it's happening," as he's going. He was wearing a suit. Pharrell was like taken back in the beginning, and it was just insane, and he absolutely killed it. I'm so glad that he moved on. That actually, one performance is one of my favorite performances to go back and watch, because it just shows what the show can do for an artist, and how you can develop an artist into someone better than they came in on audition, because he absolutely killed that song. So glad he chose it. He was just amazing. He showed a lot of power in his voice, and it was just all around a great performance. And I love that he was wearing a suit. He looked very professional. So yeah, so now my fifth is Jeffrey Austin. He sang "Turning Tables," and this is my kind of like Braden. This is my first performance from Jeffrey that I loved, and I feel like I can see him being a star in this industry, and he absolutely killed the song. I'm so glad he sang that song, and I'm so glad that Jeffrey was on this show. He killed this song. I love his tone, the emotion he puts into his song, the way he can phrase, crescendoing, just all of it is just insane, and I'm so happy that Gwen turned for him, and that Gwen is keeping him around after the knockout. So yeah. So now my bottom three. So Zach Seaball, yet again, he's now been in my bottom three all 3 weeks. I just wasn't feeling it. Like, I listened to a studio version of it, and then yet again, I wasn't feeling it. And I'm not sure what's going on. Like he's saying somebody's heartbreak. He beat Chris Crump, but I just don't know what's so far. Like I haven't heard anything from Zach that makes me think, yeah, he has potential to be a top 12 person yet. I haven't seen him perform that well yet. His voice has been average, and I haven't felt like I've seen anything yet from Zach to prove me wrong just yet up to this point. And I am happy that Blake keeps rolling with him because he does have a nice crooner voice. But other than that, I don't feel like he had anything special going for him just yet. And then we get to Mark Hood. So this was the first performance from Mark that I just wasn't a fan of. He sang "Stand By Me," and he just did too much. He was trying to do too much. He won the knockout because of his performing ability. Like his performing is on another level, but his voice was just below average. It was one of the worst performances probably in the knockouts to other people who won. And it was just kind of, I don't know, it was just so-so. Like, he was my 11th place person in the knockouts. He just wasn't very good to me. And I'm happy he won, but it was just average. And he just does too much. And it just doesn't sound good when he tries to do too much. So now my third person in the bottom three is Barrett Barber. So he's saying colder weather. So the only reason why he is this low is because of how talented the knockouts were this season, because it was so good. Like you couldn't just I couldn't put Barrett above anybody else, in my opinion. So that's why he's at 10, because I couldn't put him above anybody else, but he absolutely killed his song too. And it was really consistent all season long, and he kind of went underrated, in my opinion, just because of how talented he was. And when you look back on it, every single performance, he just killed it. And it was incredible to see. And I'm so happy that he kept moving on in the show and that Blake kept rolling with him, because he had a nice country voice. One of my favorite country male voices on the show to date. And I'm happy that he moved on, but it just wasn't my favorite performance from him in the knockout. So, yeah. So now knockouts, the people who I feel like got robbed in the knockouts. Let's see. So Dustin Christensen, he sang "Free" in his knockouts. I couldn't find a video to listen to this anywhere, but I know the song and I know he would have killed it. So I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if he should have gotten robbed. But in my opinion, he was robbed because of how talented I feel like he is. He lost to Keith, but I don't know. Keith is incredible too, but I don't know if I would have picked him over Dustin if I had heard what Dustin did. But I know that Keith killed his knockouts too, so I can't really say that. Say it sucks, but yeah. So James Dupree was my other country rod person. He went up against Shelby Brown in the knockouts, and I don't know. I guess if you're trying to eliminate, only roll with one country artist, it was the right decision to pair these two together from Atom-wise. But I don't know. I like country people, and James Dupree is one of my favorite country artists after the show. Like, I bought his first whole album, and he is one of the people who I am a huge fan of after the show, music-wise. And I feel like he could have gotten farther than he did. And I feel like I actually would have picked him over Shelby in the knockouts. But it's okay. It is what it is. But I would have just rolled with him over Shelby. But I understand why he lost, because Shelby killed hers too. Maybe Adam just saw something that was more of a star than James did. But I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, that's what happened. And then now we get on to the live playoffs. Sorry about the length of this video, guys. I am trying to shorten it down the best I can. But it's already almost 30 minutes, so I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Sorry if it's a little unorganized. This is my first video in this series, so I'll be more organized in the future. But for now, this is how it's going to be. So, my top 5, starting with number 1, yet again, in the live playoffs is Jordan Smith. He sang Halo, absolutely killed it, and he ended up being the first public vote from Team Adam. No surprise there. Him not having to be Adam's choice just proves that was the first time this season that proved me that Jordan's probably going to win the show, just because he didn't even have to be saved by his own coach to move on to the top 12. Like, America agrees with YouTube views that he's just the best. He's just the best, and there's no doubt in my mind that he wasn't going to win the show. So yeah, so now Jeffrey Austin, he was my second favorite. He's saying "Say You Love Me." I hadn't really heard this song before, but he absolutely killed it. And he ended up being a public vote for Gwen's team. And I'm happy he did. He was underrated the whole entire season long. He sang, in my opinion, after Jordan and Maddie, he's probably the most consistently best performers all season long. After you got from the knockouts to the lives, it would have to be Jordan, Maddie, then Jeffrey. Because just people who I felt like killed it every single week. And yeah, so I'm happy Jeffrey moved on, and he was definitely in my top 2 for the live playoffs. So 3 is Amy Vakel again. She sang The Way You Look Tonight, but she had to be Adam's choice, which I'm really upset about because she's so talented. Like, and I don't understand how she didn't get more votes than Shelby Brown. Shelby was average in my opinion, but Amy just kills it every single week. And it's not a crooner type vibe, but the way she sings it, it's so captivating. And I just love her voice so much. And I'm so upset that she had to be Adam's choice for her to move on to the top 12. But I am happy that Amy did move on. That Adam didn't go with Keith or something over her. So yeah. So my 4th place is gonna be Barrett Barber. He sang I Drive Your Truck, and he was the public vote number 2 for Blake. He was, again, up to the first one, whatever you want to call it. He was one of the 2. He absolutely killed this performance. I love the energy. Country vibe is nice. It was just nice performance overall, and he definitely should deserve to be in my top 5 for the live playoffs. So yeah. And then 5th is Maddie Davis. So she sang Songbird, and she was one of the 2 public votes for Pharrell's team, and she just kills it every week, and there's not much up to say about her. Her tone is on another level, just incredible about how much she can emote, and then her song selections is just on point. I'm so happy that she was a public vote because people agreed with me that she deserves it. She's special. She has a really unique voice, and I'm glad people agreed with me. So now bottom 3, Mark Hood, he just does too much with stuff. Like, he's not been in the bottom 3 twice in a row because he just doesn't sing songs. He tries to do too much work and make it special, but his performing is great, but he just does too much, and I don't know if I agree with Pharrell for choosing Mark. I feel like that just based off of those performances alone, I'm not sure I would have went with Mark, but if you're basing this off of full performances, and like, I think I would have gone with Mark too, just because of how great I know he can be. That he's just been doing too much lately, and I am happy that he moved on to the top 12. I feel like he did deserve it, but I don't know. So now we have Evan. He was my next person in the bottom 3. He sang Overjoyed. And the only reason why he's in the top 3 is because we already got a little snippet of it in the blind auditions, because they asked him what his favorite artist was. He said Stevie Wonder, and then Pharrell wanted him to sing a little bit of Overjoyed, which was Evan's favorite song. And he's really good. But I wanted to hear something different, something that we didn't already hear a little snippet of him before in the blinds. And that's the only reason why he's so low, is I've already heard it before. And I didn't really think anything of it. Like, it was okay, but I wasn't like in love with the performance at all. So yeah, Braden Sunshine, he sang Everything I Own. He was actually a public vote for Gwen's team, but he is in my bottom 3 because this performance, I didn't feel anything unique from him like I did in the knockouts, and I'm happy he moved on because he deserves it. But so far, I feel like he's getting that kind of like, not hot guy vote, but he's getting the votes from girls who like him in a way, and that was helping his case on the show, and that's what made him go farther onto the show than maybe he should have. But I don't know. It's what it is. So yeah. So now we're gonna go to who I feel like got robbed, and there's 3 people who I feel like should have replaced Shelby and Evan. At least 2 of these 3, in my opinion, should have replaced Shelby and Evan. So Victor Corelli, Keith Semple, and then Blaine Mitchell. So I feel like Victor or Keith should have been in over Shelby. And then from an Evan standpoint, I don't know what team Blaine was on, but let me see. I just don't feel like, I feel like Blaine, he killed it. He was actually one of my favorite people in the live playoffs, but I'm kind of upset that he didn't get picked. Yeah, he was on Adam's team. So Adam had 3, in my opinion, like, Adam went off this season. Like, in the live playoffs, like, he had 6 people who all should have made it in, and like that's why this show kind of sucks when it's all about coaches, because Adam may have actually had a decent amount of people in the top 12 if they had just gone off of top vote getters instead of the same amount on each team. But you never know. Blake has all these country people, so you never know about that. But I feel like Adam had the best team this season up until the lives. During the lives, I felt like Blake had the best team of 3 people, but from a standpoint of before the lives, Adam had the best team, but Blake had the best team in the live shows. From a standpoint of making it, like, he didn't lose an artist until the semifinals, and even then, he almost had 3 people in the finale. If Jeffrey didn't win the instant save, then Zach could have won it, and then Blake could have had 3 people in the finale with Jordan Smith winning the show. Well, that would have been insane. It's happened before. It happened in season 6 or 7 when Craig Wayne Boyd won over... not that season. It happened before in season 16 when Malin Jarman won over 3 of Blake's people, and I feel like it's happened again where Adam had 3 people in the finale, but Blake won anyway. So Blake kind of happened one time for him where he was on the winning side of it, but it also happened when he was on the losing side of it. So yeah, so from this point, after the live playoffs, before I can hear anybody from the top 12, I have 3 people who I feel like are my 3 favorites. My 3 favorites going into the lives are Jordan Smith, Maddie Davis, and Amy Vakel. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say anything about the live, so how I feel about it yet. That's going to be enough for another video. But those are my 3 people who I feel like are my favorites, who had the most consistent performances throughout the first stages of this season. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry for the length of it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please leave a comment in the description, please, if you guys have any suggestions about what I can do for my channel, what you guys think about this video, and please give me a like and please subscribe down below for more content. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.